What's up, everybody? Forrest from Life Fitness here. Appreciate you guys chiming in again. Just for those who don't know me, I am our segment manager for hospital wellness and nonprofits. But excited to bring another interview for you here. I've got my colleague Darryl, whom I've worked with for the entirety of my career, and we also have Mark Miller with us from the Merritt Clubs there in the Baltimore area. So, Darryl, why don't you introduce our guest to the rest of everybody tuning in?
Sure. Mark has been with Merritt for 20 years now. He's currently the Chief Operating Officer, and for the last 17 years, been with the Rex Roundtable Group, and he's currently leading the GM Group with Rex. So Mark is an experienced URSA leader / member, and he's given us his time this morning, so we're happy to have him on.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here.
That's good stuff. So, Mark, why don't you kind of share with us just a little bit, just out of, your experience in the last 20 years, how you've seen the industry change as we start to talk about, what's going on right now in the industry, but leading up to it, the last 20 years, what have you seen?
So that's a great question. So, last 20 years have been really, I think our industry as a whole has advanced and really shifted and changed. I mean, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, you've seen a lot more. Like when I first started in the industry, it was the old high intensity, single set type of training, equipment, people did their cardios and all that. And then it slowly kind of evolved to where there was less equipment and more open floor space. I mean, I know we personally started putting in turf areas, our trainers started to get very creative. We have a very talented group of leaders in our company, and they started doing like the kettlebell workouts, the TRX workouts, small group trainings, all that stuff kind of evolved over time to where it brought us to the present day. And then all of a sudden we got this pivot, right? The virus came and everything pivoted. And now, we're seeing this whole thing about virtual and, connecting with members on platforms that we've never used before and really starting to adapt and all that. And so it's been a great learning process over, the last 45 days, but the last 3 years in general, I think our industry has really advanced. I think people are starting to put, the generations that are coming up, they're putting a premium on their health, and they're also putting a premium on that connection and interaction and being part of something.
Oh, that's really insightful and interesting that you're sort of identifying that potentially we were heading this direction already in the last couple of years, and then maybe the quarantines and the coronavirus might have just forced folks to take a step into this. There's a lot of words to describe it, sort of that on-demand digital experience, connecting with members. So for everybody out there, I mean, I can only imagine with facilities being shut down, it's had an impact. But to talk to us and everybody about how you're staying connected now, the things that you're doing to keep members engaged with your facilities while they can't access them.
Yeah. So Forrest, if I take one step back for a moment, I think you're right in the sense that we were already seeing this. I mean, there was times in our clubs, I remember, about a year ago, I had put all brand new TVs in our clubs and I never heard any feedback. And I went and talked to one of my general managers. I was like, how come no one said anything? And she was like, Mark, just watch. And you just see people with their iPads or their phones, and they were watching Netflix or watching YouTube videos or workout apps on the floor. So I was like, wow, the TVs really mean nothing. They're already engaged on a digital platform. And this was happening beforehand. So,
right.
It was already starting to happen. I think this pivot has made us accelerate it. We've kind of jumped into it now. So for us, what we've done over the last, we've been closed now since March 17th. So we're coming up on 8 weeks. Our directors, both our fitness directors and our group fitness directors and our regional leaders have done an outstanding job with our marketing department. And what we've done is shifted everything to online. So we have live group fitness classes.
Oh, wow.
We're doing videos on demand. We've partnered with Les Mills, so we're offering their content.
Mm-hmm.
We have our fitness directors are creating workouts of the day, and you can get it online or on demand. And we've done postings on social media, Instagram, and all that. But then we also have our regional directors who were doing things that are outside the box. So we're big family clubs. Multi-purpose and all that, Darryl kind of knows, with pools and all that. So what we've been doing is we've had story time for kids.
Oh, cool.
Cool. We're doing, we did a summer camp parade where we drove by a bunch of the summer campers. We've done cooking demos, and we've done margaritas, kind of happy hours, Zoom happy hours. We did a digital DJ that our marketing department had set up, where we had an evening for just members, and we had a DJ playing live for an hour. We're just doing shout outs to different people. So we've done all these things to just try and connect people. In addition, we're sending out emails to our members with weekly newsletters that give them mental health tips, nutritional guidance from our wellness department, food recipes. We're giving out workouts of the week and all that stuff. So we're doing everything we can to just keep our members having some sort of connection, normalcy, and a little bit of fun during the same thing.
Wow, that's incredible. So circling back on the DJ thing, and you'll know why I'm saying, before we started recording, we were talking about Fortnite, and I don't know if you saw this is funny, but literally like either last Friday or this Friday, they're hosting like an in-game party where like Steve Aoki is literally DJing their party. So did you have Steve do yours, or how'd that go?
No, we weren't that lucky. We had DJ Donnie, who's well known.
Not quite
here.
As many Instagram followers for DJ Donnie probably, but you know what? That's really insightful. Some of those other connection points, I think, rightly so. The knee-jerk reaction was on the on-demand workouts, and we saw a lot of people do that to try to keep the value connection point, but to take that beyond into like the community, value, the camp stuff and things that you described there, I think is really helpful, because again, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We see, a few states starting to open up with Georgia and Tennessee and Utah, but for others, it may not be tomorrow. It may be another month or 2 or 3. So that's really helpful for folks to think through other ways to continue creating that connection point. So as we turn our sights to the future, right, where we all want to be, we want to get to that point where we get to reopen our facilities. Do you mind sharing with folks how you guys have already started to strategize in your facilities, both physically and strategically? What is it going to look like for you guys as the doors start to open up in a month or 2 here up there in Maryland?
Yeah, happy to. So we've been hard at work. So we've done complete deep cleans of all of our clubs. We've had the staff that we were able to keep on. We've had them in the clubs, not only shooting videos and all that, but we've had them, cleaning everything. We're following all the proper social distancing, wearing masks and all that, fogging all the areas, deep clean, stuff like that. We've moved all of our equipment floors. So in a lot of our cases, we've taken over the basketball courts and those racquetball courts and all that, and we've just basically spread out all the equipment so that everything is 6 feet apart. We've introduced additional hand sanitizing stations throughout the entire club. We've been working with our marketing teams on creating signage and stickers. And so we have floor stickers that say, please stay 5 dumbbell lengths apart, 6 feet physical distancing, and we have those spread throughout the club. We have directional arrows so that we can push traffic in certain directions, so that way no one is ever close enough to actually have to worry about anything. We have put all new protocols in place with our cleaning teams, our fitness teams, our kid zones, so that we're prepped and can take care of everyone safely. We've also, on our pool decks, we're also putting physical distancing on all of our pool decks because we have recreational pools and all that. So we're kind of going off the theme of, at least 1 cannonball splash away from each other, again, 6 feet.
Yeah.
So we've moved all of our pool decks. We've bought shields. So we have shields that are on our welcome desks, our kid zones, our bars, and then we are actually installing plexiglass hanging from a ceiling in front of all of our group fitness stages. So that way we can mitigate anything like that.
That's actually a new one. I hadn't heard that one yet. That's cool. Very nice.
And so, we've done all that. And then what we've been doing on our side is we're taking videos, photos of everything. We're creating a document that we're going to send to all of our members that talks about all the cleaning, all the sanitation, what we're doing for their safety, all the new rules that we're putting into place that you can't, we're doing a declaration before you come in to make sure people are not ill or anything. All of our employees will be wearing masks and, we'll be taking every safety precaution. We've added additional gym wipe stations throughout the entire club so that people can clean. We've social distanced our locker rooms. So we've zip tied a bunch of lockers. So that way, you have to stay 6 feet apart within all the lockers and all that.
And to clarify, you've got, is it 9 locations? I don't want to so this is happening at all 9 locations, including the equipment moves and things like that?
Yeah, they're all done.
Wow, that's
Yeah, 9
not a small.
locations, and we have 4 outdoor pools we manage and 4 corporate fitness centers we manage.
Oh, wow.
So, we've been doing it across the board everywhere we can. And then, we've been also adding, we're looking at the nanotechnology that you wrap on door handles. We're looking at automatic door openers on areas that we can. We've been changing out all of any toilets or sinks that were not automatic are now automatic.
Wow.
So we're just trying to get, everything that we can to be safe for our members and our employees.
Wow.
Yeah, so not a small investment with manpower or probably dollars to pull that off, but it kind of necessitates that, as we really try to ensure, the safety and well-being of members who we need, right, collectively to come back to these facilities and feel comfortable to do so. So sort of the last kind of question I want to think through is both for your club, but as well as sort of the industry. Once we get there, right, once we get people back in, and 3, 6, 9 months from now, how do you think the industry itself is going to look different, just a few extra steps down the road? Like, are these temporary? I mean, I guess some those toilet changes are not like overnight changes, right? Some of these are permanent changes. Do you think it goes back to normal? Do you think that we see a new version of normal going into the future of the fitness industry or for your clubs there in the Baltimore area?
I think your last point is probably the accurate point. I think we're going to see kind of a new level of normal. I think this quarantine has made people realize a couple different things, right? So I think health is going to become even more of a premium because of the immune system and strengthening our respiratory systems and all that. So I think we're going to come out as health clubs. I think we're going to come out in a very good position because people are going to want to be healthier. So now rather than fight that whole obesity thing, now it's all about mental health. It's about immunity. It's about respiratory safety and all that. But I also think on the other side that people are going to be looking, are you clean?
Yeah.
And how are you going to keep me safe? So I think that is going to change the way a lot of operators operate because you're going to have to make an investment in cleanliness. And, people are going to expect that. It's not going to be, the new normal. And I think people are going to self-regulate themselves. I think there's going to be a higher level of social responsibility where, people will just naturally wipe down, handles and machines before they use it and after they use it. I just think it's going to be naturally happening. So, and I think people are, the social distancing will at least be here until there's a vaccine.
Yeah.
However, you know what? It may become something where people are just a little bit more aware of your surroundings and what you do. And, in the past, we would really cram equipment together. Now it's kind of like, I think even when we design new clubs, we're going to always be kind of looking at, and I think even the evolution of designs of clubs, because we have some clubs where, we're trying to figure out pattern flows.
Yep.
And, we don't have the ability in some clubs where you can have an exit out one side and entrance on the other side. But I think as we develop in the futures, we're now going to be thinking through these things and saying, okay, well, if the next one comes or when the next one comes, how are we going to be prepared to design that? And I also think that there's going to be these hybrid memberships, where this virtual component is going to always be part of members' lives from here out forward. I think clubs are going to have a virtual component. I think it's going to become a new normal. And I think, that we're going to see that as just an evolution of how, the industry changes.
That's what was a great lead into sort of my next question, right? Literally, we see that piece of the industry just explode almost overnight. It was happening. It was heading that direction. But I saw a stat a couple of days ago that I think Peloton, which is sort of like the buzzword for that, it's like the poster child, right? I think it's the poster child for the on-demand experience. They added something like 1.1 million users to their subscriber platform. That's not 1.1 million bikes. You can use your own bike, but 1.1 million subscribers to their platform from like mid-March to the end of April. I think it's literally up like 100% or something. Good for them, right? The rest of us are trying to figure it out. But the reason I point that out is sort of piggybacking on what you just commented there is this sort of hybrid experience where you're going to have members. I think you're right. They're going to come back and actively pursue health back in fitness facilities because in the end, it is still the best way to stay and achieve your fitness goals, right? I don't think there's anybody that can deny that, except for like the Uber 1% that can just go like do burpees until they throw up by themselves without a trainer yelling at them. But what does that look like maybe for you guys strategically? Do you intend on carrying some of these, interactions on demand, digital like connection points that you put in place now? Do you plan on carrying them into the future, into that future strategy, or have you given much thought to what that's going to look like?
No, actually, we have a little team that's working on it right now. So we're offering it for free for all of our members right now. So we're not charging, we don't charge any dues. Maryland shut down all that. So we're really operating without any revenue. But our intent is that we are going to create a virtual membership. And, we want to monetize it like everybody does. But, we're thinking that could be an option for some members that say, well, you know what, maybe I'm not ready to come back right now. So, okay, great. Stay connected with us. You can still see your favorite instructors, your favorite classes, your favorite trainers, and work through that. So we've met with 5 different platforms right now that can tie into our app and things like that. So we're looking at all that. And then we're kind of creating a strategy of, even when we open, our thinking is that there will be classes in the club, but then there'll be virtual classes as well.
Wow, that's good. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, because we know that, like, when we were doing our social distancing in our clubs, we know that there are certain classes that we just can't, we don't feel safe enough yet until we have a better understanding of the future. So we've just decided that we won't offer them in the club because, we might only be able to get 6 people and we want to have a good experience. So we're going to offer them virtually and keep them going virtually.
And that might actually help from the social distancing and the ratios and all of that as well. Do you mind sharing, just for folks that might be interested, like what app you use and what platforms you're considering to pull that off? It's okay if you're not okay sharing that, but do you mind?
No. We haven't made any decisions yet, but our app provider is, we use Motion Vibe for our app. And so we've been able to put all the virtual content on there. So like we have all the classes that we've run live, we've also recorded them, and now he's been able to put them on there for us. And we're looking at, we've looked at Televideo, Uscreen, Viamo, God, I can't think of the other ones, Burn Along, so we've looked at a lot of different platforms, and we haven't made a final decision. We're hoping to do that in the next week because there's a lot of factors. And one of the things Darryl knows about us is we're the very high end. So we like to do things the right way. And, we want to make sure that whoever we're a partner with is a true partner. It's not just a matter of being a vendor. Yeah. We like our partners, kind of like Darryl has always done for us, is to just take care of us, and by doing that, we'll stay with you guys forever. So we kind of look at it as kind of a marriage, and we just stay together. We get it done together.
No, that's fantastic. So, wrapping up here, Mark, really appreciate the insight. We'll put this up on LinkedIn where folks are probably watching. It is okay if folks reach out to you for follow-up questions about, if you've done some of that research that sounds valuable. Is that all right if they reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to help.
Appreciate that. And Darryl, obviously we can be a connection point that from the life fitness side as well. Darryl, what's the region that you cover from the health club and YMCA perspective?
Delaware, Maryland.
Okay.
And very shortly, you're going to see Mark's cell phone number flash on the screen for everybody.
No, I don't think we'll do quite all of that. We'll post it on the connection points and everything. But again, Mark, fantastic insight. I think it's going to be really valuable for the folks to get a chance to hear from it. And if we can connect the dots and get a little bit better for it on the other side of this, then I think that's a good thing. So really appreciate the time today.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm always happy to help out. And Darryl's been nothing but, a huge asset and good friend for years.
Too much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
We'll keep him around.
Please do.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much.
All right.
Have a good one.